You don't join a cult. You drift into one. One conversation, one dinner invitation, one moment where someone made you feel truly seen. That's how it starts. Not with chains, not with threats, with kindness. Researchers who study cultic groups have documented something terrifying. The people most vulnerable to cult recruitment are not the lost, the broken, or the mentally ill. They're people going through a life transition. College students, divorcees, people who just moved to a new city, people like you. Stephen Hassan, a former Moonian cult expert, spent decades studying how ordinary people get absorbed into totalitarian groups. His conclusion: there is no cult-proof personality. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why and what to do about it. What you're about to learn isn't a history lesson about fringe groups. The psychological tactics used by cults are the same ones used in high-pressure sales environments, abusive relationships, political movements, and online communities. Understanding them won't just protect you from cults. It'll help you recognize when anyone, anywhere, is trying to reshape your reality. Here's what no one tells you about cult recruitment. It doesn't feel like recruitment. It feels like finally finding your people. The first technique is called love bombing, and it's one of the most potent psychological weapons ever documented. Love bombing means overwhelming a target with affection, attention, validation, and belonging before they've earned any of it. New recruits are showered with compliments. People remember their names. They're invited to meals. Someone always seems thrilled to see them. In a 2019 study published in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence, researchers found that love bombing triggers the same neurological pathways as early romantic love, flooding the brain with dopamine and oxytocin. Your brain literally cannot tell the difference between genuine belonging and manufactured belonging. Takeaway: love bombing bypasses your critical thinking. By the time you realize something is wrong, your brain has already bonded. But love bombing is just the opening move. The second technique is designed to make sure you never want to leave. Every cult does this, every single one. They don't lock you in a room. They make the outside world seem hostile. Isolation happens gradually. First, you spend more time with the group. That's natural, you like them. Then subtly, outside relationships start getting discouraged. Your old friends don't understand you like we do. Your family is negative energy. Why waste time with people who don't share your values? Dr. Robert Lifton, a psychiatrist at Harvard who studied thought reform in Chinese political prisoners, identified isolation as one of the 8 criteria of what he called thought reform environments. He called it milieu control, complete domination of the individual's social environment. When your outside relationships erode, the cult becomes your entire social world. And when the cult is your only source of belonging, approval, information, and identity, you'll do almost anything to keep it. Takeaway: isolation isn't a symptom of cult membership, it's a deliberate engineering process. And once it's complete, the next phase can begin. What if you could make someone incapable of questioning you? You wouldn't need to threaten them. You wouldn't need to watch them. They'd police their own mind. This is thought stopping, a technique documented extensively by Robert Lifton and one of the most insidious tools in cult psychology. Thought stopping works by installing automatic responses to any doubt. In most high-control groups, members are taught to respond to doubt with repetitive activities: chanting, praying, meditative repetition, scripture recitation. The moment a critical thought arises, they immediately engage the ritual. The thought never has time to develop. Psychiatrist Margaret Singer, who worked with over 3,000 former cult members, described how former members often couldn't complete critical thoughts for months after leaving. They had literally practiced thought suppression until it became automatic. Takeaway: when doubt is pathologized, when questioning is reframed as weakness, sin, or disloyalty, you lose access to your own judgment. But here's where the psychology gets even darker. Most people assume they could never be recruited. That's exactly what makes them vulnerable. Research by psychologist Dr. Janja Lalich found that cult membership skews toward educated, idealistic people. Many cult members are above average intelligence. The reason is brutal. Intelligent people are better at rationalizing. When an intelligent person adopts a flawed belief, they don't notice the flaws. They construct increasingly sophisticated defenses for it. They aren't dumber than the average person. They're better at defending ideas they should be questioning. The smarter you are, Dr. Lalich wrote, the better you are at building the cage that holds you. Every cult creates its own language. And language doesn't just describe reality, it shapes it. Linguist Benjamin Lee Horf proposed that the language you speak influences what you're capable of thinking. Cults exploit this systematically. New vocabulary gets introduced. Suppressives, apostates, sheeple, muggles, worldly people. These words don't just name outsiders, they dehumanize them. Meanwhile, internal vocabulary creates a private world, words that only members understand, that bond them together, that make outside conversations feel clumsy and insufficient. Robert Lifton called this the sacred science and loading the language. When new concepts can only be expressed in group terminology, you lose the linguistic tools to critique those concepts. You can't think thoughts you don't have words for. Takeaway: when a group replaces your language, they're not just changing how you talk, they're changing how you think. And the final stage is designed to make that change feel like your own idea. By the time most people realize something is wrong, leaving feels unthinkable. Not because they're stupid, because they've invested everything. Psychologists call this the sunk cost fallacy, the well-documented tendency to continue investing in something because of what you've already put in, not because of what you'll get out. But cults engineer the sunk cost deliberately. Members are encouraged to donate money, cut ties with family, make public professions of faith, recruit others, confess secrets. Every action is a brick in a wall that makes departure feel like self-destruction. Janja Lalich's research on Bounded Choice, the title of her landmark 2004 book, showed that cult members operate within a system where every available option reinforces membership. It's not brainwashing in the sci-fi sense. It's a carefully constructed decision environment. Takeaway: the investment trap isn't a feeling, it's a system. Understanding it is the first step to escaping it. Once you're inside, the world gets divided into two categories: us and everyone else. The us versus them worldview isn't an accident. It's engineered. It serves two psychological functions. It makes the group feel special, chosen, and under threat. And it makes the outside world feel dangerous, corrupt, and untrustworthy. Social psychologist Henri Tajfel's social identity theory, developed from his own experience as a Holocaust survivor, showed that humans naturally favor their in-group. Cults weaponize this bias. They construct an in-group identity so total that leaving means losing not just community, but yourself. The external enemy keeps members in a state of low-grade vigilance. It explains every failure, persecution from outsiders. It justifies every sacrifice. We're the last line of defense. Takeaway: the US versus them framework doesn't reflect reality. It creates it for everyone inside the group. Everything you've heard sounds extreme, but these tactics operate on a spectrum. They exist in sales pitches, political movements, wellness communities, online groups, and abusive relationships. Knowing what to look for is your first line of defense. Watch for accelerated intimacy. When someone wants to be your best friend within days, when the connection feels almost supernaturally perfect, slow down. Genuine relationships build over time. Protect your outside relationships. Any group, person, or ideology that requires you to distance yourself from people who love you should be treated as a red flag. Full stop. Notice when doubt is forbidden. Healthy communities can be questioned. If expressing uncertainty makes you feel like a traitor, if doubt is treated as disloyalty or spiritual failure, that's a control mechanism. Watch the language. Is the group developing vocabulary that only insiders understand? Are outsiders being described in dehumanizing terms? Language drift is an early warning sign. Trust your discomfort. Former cult members consistently report they felt something was wrong early, but talked themselves out of it. Your instincts exist for a reason. You don't join a cult because you're weak. You join because someone engineered the perfect conditions for you to join. Love bombing, isolation, thought suppression, language control, the investment trap, the siege mentality. Each step makes the next one harder to escape, but awareness is the first weapon. The people who survive cult recruitment and those who escape cultic groups are almost always people who maintained at least one outside relationship. One anchor to reality. Keep your anchors. If this video made you think differently about how influence actually works, subscribe. We post every Tuesday and Friday. And stay sharp. Total estimated duration, 14 minutes. Visual markers, 5. Sections, 6 plus. Hook plus intro plus. Pattern interrupt plus. Self-defense plus CTA.